Legacy Media is falling apart, and as it crumbles, a void is opening, a void that we intend to fill. The big legacy news networks currently average just 1.2 million viewers a weeknight, and those numbers are only going to get lower. Legacy Media is dying, and the younger generation has moved on. Legacy Media panders. Legacy Media lies. Legacy Media does not know what the truth is, and they don't care about it. Legacy Media is a dumpster fire. This is why we few in our wild imaginations have started the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Our goal is to take down the legacy media giant of the last 50 years with our 5 stones. We started in 2016 with our flagship show, Cross Politic. Since those small beginnings, we now air on DirecTV. Our broader podcast network now gets over 4 million downloads a year. And our Fight Laugh Feast pub, which includes TV shows like This America, The Rowdy Christian's Guide, Pastors in Politics, and As the Lord Pleases, with your support, many more to come. Our goal is to become the flagship new media 2.0 network over the next 50 years and take over nightly news, sports, sitcoms, hunting shows, and more, all conveniently stored for you in our Fight Laugh Feast pub. We're already reaching the next generation through our podcast shows on YouTube, X, and our pub, while also tapping into legacy media audiences by airing our shows on TV through DirecTV and Xfinity. We have made a lot of progress with some duct tape and a good bit of intuition and a lot of sweat. And now we need your support more than ever. The TV networks have had such a negative impact on our households, and we're trying, by the grace of God, to put a stop to that. We have the opportunity. We just need the army. Now more than ever, we need you to join our pub to help us reach our goal of 1 million pub supporters in the next 5 years. There's no way around it. Competing with Fox and the Alphabet networks without money is virtually impossible. It's cheap for you to join. And when you do, you're combining your small monthly support with a growing army of like-minded Christians. We have thousands, we need millions. So if you want more of the Alphabet network's misinformation and lies, don't join. But if you want to give us a mere 5 stones, then please join the pub, and together we will take a swing at the head of big media, all the while fighting, laughing, and feasting to the glory of God. Hey y'all, welcome to Cross Politic on the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Good to be with you. We have all sorts of friends in the studio. We have a studio audience that you can't see.
They're stranded. They got stranded here.
It's the biggest studio audience ever.
It's huge.
It's huge. And of course, we got First Story Real Estate.
They've been stranded longer than anybody's been stranded ever.
Ever, because of Pete Buttigieg.
That's true.
We got a story in the house.
Yes, the Story Real Estate in the house. Pastor Toby Chuck Knox. I'm the water boy. It's good to be with you guys.
And Jordan and Chris.
And Jordan and Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was like,
are you serious?
Yeah, I was just like,
all right, Biden.
No.
You forget where you were? He's like, who's Chris?
So we got Jordan and Chris on.
It's contagious.
It is, I know.
Oh, no.
Biden did tweet out. He did tweet out.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. No, it comes from the president's account.
Yeah.
And he said, Jill and I are grateful for Director Cheadle for her decades of public service. So he's just thanking her.
He hasn't spoken that clearly in decades.
Well, let me read it in his voice. Jill and I are grateful for the Director.
Oh, you guys.
There we go.
You know, I just got, before you, I know you're going to jump into an ad, but I just have to say this. All of us have a little Alex Jones in us. I just want everybody to know that. And most of us, like me, have him tied up and gagged and put in the closet and turned up the music really loud so we don't hear him yelling right now. But boy, I think he just got ungagged. Music volume just
Jordan, do you know where Joe Biden is?
Haven't seen him yet. Have you?
Okay, no.
Chris, do you know where our president is?
Heard he might be in a basement somewhere.
Yeah, y'all stop it. He's fine. He's fine. They're playing us right now.
Oh, that's funny.
That's just, they want us to act like this. Anyway, I'm sorry, Pastor, I interrupted you.
Maybe this is what Pastor Wilson means by don't take the bait.
Don't take the bait, guys.
Don't let
your Alex Jones out the closet, okay?
All right, guys, you listen to Cross Politics because you want to make an impact. That impact requires time and money. Allow us to introduce you to Dominion Wealth. They can't buy you more time, but they can help you build wealth over time with holistic financial strategies, including budgeting, insurance, investments, estate planning, and more. The mission of Dominion Wealth is not just to individuals, but to the broader Christian community. They educate, advise, and build plans to reduce your donation to Caesar so you can maximize your gift to God with strategies like family banking and capital maximization growth strategies. No matter your tax bracket, there are solutions for every fiscal stage of life at Dominion Wealth and for your children. If you and your spouse want to take dominion over your finances, book a complimentary consultation at reformed.money. Today, from baptism to burial, Dominion has you covered. Once again, that's reformed.money to book a complimentary consultation. I feel God right there.
We had Justin Johnson on the show last week.
Gold, hallelujah.
Yeah, am I supposed to read this next ad right now, Neil? Yes, I am. Okay, all right.
Okay, back to back.
All right, buying or selling a home seems so complicated. But good news, read the next ad now.
Producer, send the notes.
It's contagious.
But good news, it doesn't have to be that complicated. Not with Story Real Estate, at least. They make buying or selling really simple, especially when they come on your show. They've created a framework and specialized model to guarantee your success with 1,000 success stories from happy families. I'm one of them. You know they're a team you can trust. They have experts dedicated to every part of your buying or selling process to ensure that you have a seamless experience along the way. So if you have questions about real estate, they're your team. Head to storyrealestate.com. Storyrealestate.com. And speaking of storyrealestate.com, Gabe, I want to introduce you to Chris Carpenter. He's the CEO.
I thought you were talking about our audience and you knew their names. And
sure.
And I was like, never.
And Gabe, I want to introduce you to Jordan.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Good to see
I don't
you.
know your title.
Jordan used to work for me.
Yeah.
Actually. At UC
I'm sorry, Jordan.
He helped me.
It was an adventure, I'll tell you that. It's good.
Jordan was the one who filmed the infamous bathroom video.
Oh, yeah.
I said, Jordan, I got this great idea. Go out and find a bathroom and film it.
Yeah, and he did.
And he did. He killed it.
Yeah.
In our office, which was really tiny, we were just back to back at our computers.
That's right.
Every 20 minutes or so, Gabe would spin around in his chair and be like, Jordan, I've got an idea for you. Film, go.
I mean, like I was full of ideas.
Did he ever spin around and be like, who are you?
I was just doing it.
He just started doing that way.
So this is this is an insane moment to live. Let's just pause. First of all, what a gift for God to assign us to this
I'm loving it.
era.
I'm really loving it.
I'm sure the Middle Ages had their highlights. The Reformation was a sweet spot to live as well.
Alfred was cool.
But you know what? I'm really grateful to be alive right now. But it's crazy. I mean, this is like, we're surfing a wave, and I don't know which way we're going to fall off of it.
I'm ready for the blue paint.
Did you say we're surfing?
Let's go.
We're surfing. I'm just
Surfing the wave.
trying to keep balance.
I don't think.
Everybody goes surf.
We're in a wave, that's for sure.
Somewhere in the wave. Just the insanity. You've got the Trump assassination attempt, and even the last 4 years of the litigation against them, the weaponizing of the FBI. You've got this, Weekend at Bernie's presidency apparently, and now it's like, where's Joe Biden? He's stepped down from the race. Kamala apparently has been already nominated as the nominee, I hear. Everybody but like 12 delegates in the whole country have already nominated her. That seems a little suspicious.
Yeah.
And inflation's through the roof. I mean, many people are checking their budgets, and it's like, what I used to be able to buy these groceries for, I'm getting it's a lot less. And interest rates have been pretty high. I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, So you guys are in the real estate business. Why buy now? I mean, is that a really good idea? I mean, should we wait? I don't know, for something to stable. Is this going to stabilize? I mean, what do you guys? I don't know. Who wants it?
Yeah.
Buy now? Buy now? No?
Depends.
Oh, okay.
I know that's the answer you're looking for. I know.
Come on.
You sound like Kamala.
Depends are for Joe. Just wanted you to know that.
I think
That's your dad joke for the day.
Yeah.
it's a good idea for more people than they realize. And they tend to fall into three camps. I meet with people, and either after we meet, they need to change jobs. They need to change their budget situation so that they can be ready 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Other people I meet with, and then they move out of state. They're like, I can't buy here, and I need to create a different plan for real estate investing. There's other people who realize, actually, I can buy right now, even with where the rates are at. It makes sense for us financially, and then we go out and get them a place. But it's when people just have the victim mindset, they sit back and they don't do anything. That's what gets people in trouble.
The victim mindset. What do you mean by that?
The market's too tough right now. I can't do anything, so I'm not going to even attempt to plan for the future.
Right.
I'm not going to attempt to learn about the process.
Yeah, Joe Biden is president, but
That's
maybe
the victim mindset. Yeah.
We'll talk later, David.
That's a real white privilege.
I thought you were making a wise decision. It's like you've been a victim. Oh, snap. Got to make some decisions here. Keep going. I'm listening.
So, I mean, but like, isn't this the moment to wait? Like, are we about to crash? I mean, is this about, when it's this volatile, this unstable, is it wise to invest now?
If you're thinking, you sound like you're thinking about real estate like stocks, which is what people have mentally been thinking of it as the last 5 years or so, because it's been so volatile up and down. So people make $100,000 in a year or two because they bought at the right time.
Right.
And then sold. Yeah.
And then sold. Yeah, that's historically a terrible way to think about the real estate market.
Right.
It's a long game.
Okay.
If you look over 80 years, it's a 4% appreciation year over year. You only lose money if you sell in the crash.
Yeah.
And if you need to sell, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's
right?
a problem.
So if you can afford the payment now, you can afford it with groceries continuing to go up over the next couple of years, and you have that buffer, then it can be great. But you've got to be thinking in 10-year increments, not 2.
Well, I think part of my question is like, politically, everything feels very volatile right now.
Yeah.
We don't even know if our president's alive, right?
Stop.
Why do we keep bringing that up? But politically, it does feel very turmoil-ish. But are interest rates up and down a lot? Or, is everything kind of consistent at a market level? But, there's some volatility still in the pricing of the housing market. But like, is it as crazy as our politics are right now?
Yeah, interest rates peaked last November, right around 8%. They came back, and they've fluctuated between 6 and 7% all year this year. We want to be surprised. People are always like,
which is where I bought my first house. I think my interest rate were 6 or 7.
My first one was 5.
Was it 5?
Yeah. So it's not when you say that, I'm like, that's not quite as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah. Over the long-term interest rates, the average interest rate since they began tracking 8%. Over the last 30 years, I think it was 7%. So we're right in that range.
The average.
People got so used to 2, 3, 4%, absolutely low monthly
I'm
payments.
Still used to that.
Yep. Thank Lord. I'm at like 2.75 or something.
I'm used to that every month.
Which is like for a 30-year loan, it basically, maybe you can explain this better than I can, but basically it's almost like a free loan in a 30-year mortgage. 2.7% is nothing.
Right.
And what I'm going to pay.
It's close to free money.
Yeah.
With market appreciation and everything else.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I love a free loan.
Yeah.
So Trump, in his acceptance speech, I think in passing, said that he's bringing down interest rates.
I have heard that. I heard that he could put pressure on the Fed to drop their federal funds rate, which would impact mortgage interest rates, which they may then seek to do prior to the election, make the economy look better. At hopes that Trump doesn't get elected. It's not too bad these days.
Right.
So it could be that interest rates either come down now, soon, September, prior to the election, economy's not that bad, or after if Trump does get elected. It's possible.
One of the reasons I wanted to buy.
That's actually crazy that the president could influence.
Right. I mean, that's
our interest rates in the market.
I wasn't going to play this clip yet, but since remember the other day I was talking about Bonson, and I was like, Bonson on the energy sector. I wanted to play this clip because I didn't actually quote Bonson well, and one of the things I learned...
You got in trouble,
No, because he hadn't found out yet. It's amazing that you think Bonson would listen to this show. He only forces himself to listen to it when he has to come on here.
on the show. Right. Yeah.
This is actually what Bonson said, though, about the energy sector.
Yeah.
The president has almost nothing to do with markets and never has. Deregulation will help, and President Trump will be good for deregulation. But Hugh, the worst performing sector under President Trump was energy, and he was the best president for energy of my lifetime. The best performing sector under Biden has been energy, and he was the worst president for energy of my lifetime. I am an optimist about markets because I'm an optimist about human freedom and the ability of people to innovate over time and do it profitably. But I don't think short-term politics is the catalyst.
So what did we learn from this? You don't ever speak for Bonson because I cannot articulate that nearly as well as he did. I completely inverted that.
I still want to know like how they compare. So it was the worst under Trump.
In terms of, I think, revenue, and then he's saying under Biden, to me, I think it's a revenue comparison is what he's doing, right?
Sure.
Let's not speak for Bonson. Let's not speak for Bonson.
I'm still against this. Because under Trump, he lowered prices dropped, which means your revenue is probably going to drop.
But this for me, last time you guys were here, we talked about this. Your wife was here with you last time, and one of the things that you guys brought out was what's important for you and what could you do, right? That was really, and it was really key because right now I'm thinking about investment. I'm in a different place than I was before I had my house. So I'm thinking about what are good places for me to take the revenue that I'm generating from my house and where do I put it at? And then, so what kind of game do I play with that? Well, a lot of people, the first reason I bought a house was because I was tired of taking pictures down off the wall from having to move so many times because the places we were renting started to sell.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was like, wait a second, I can't build the kind of thing that I need to build with my family if we have to move every 2 to 3 years or 4 years, and there's no consistency there. So
because someone wants to flip their rental.
Because and that's, they have the right to do that. Right. I don't own it, so I don't get to make any of the decisions about what happens on this land. I can, say, hey, could you change? No, they're going to sell. So then you have to make the decision about what's good for you and your family, what's going to build wealth over time for you. And you guys really helped me with that and say, okay, you got to be able to make these kind of decisions for your people, right? And I don't think that, I love what you said, Jordan, about like, hey, you're playing like it's a stock market. And then I think another thing is we're assuming that the presidency is going to have so much more control over our decisions than we are. We can actually make the decision, say, no, this is what we're going to do. Yeah. This is the game we need to play because it's good for us. And then let all of the cards fall where they need to fall at. But no, this is good for us. This is what we need to do. What people are struggling with now, there's an exodus from the cities. There's an exodus from states like California because of the laws that they're making. There's an exodus from Minneapolis. Andrew Isker just posted a comment or a video on X saying that he's leaving Minneapolis or Minnesota going to Tennessee. And so people are trying to figure out where is the best place to try and plant or start over. And as you guys are looking at the lay of the land, how are you looking at that and saying, okay, this is where you're going to get the best bang for your buck at? Because you guys are national, right? You guys work nationally.
Yeah, we have connections. We have a great referral network nationally, conversations with agents all across the country. And I mean, if you are exiting one of those states or one of those cities,
looking to rebuild, right?
Yeah. I mean, you want to go a place where you can have control over what you do and when. And, so I would recommend a place that has levels of freedom when it comes to your real estate, your ownership.
Move to Moscow.
Are people calling you guys to have those kind of conversations?
All the time.
Really?
Weekly.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they looking for?
Incredible.
Yeah, they're looking for a place where they can educate their kids, raise their kids where they want, geographically, state laws that support that. They're looking for a place where they can plant roots, good community, where they can get out of a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom condo and actually maybe own some ground.
Money goes a little further.
Absolutely.
When Elon Musk...
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, California is just crazy on all sorts of levels. And recently, the governor signed some law that had to do with basically the state would confiscate your children if you're kind of against their gender transition. It's very vague, but I'm not detailed on that. But and so Elon tweeted out and said, "Okay, well, I'm moving all my corporate headquarters into Texas." Does that kind of stuff get to you guys? Like, those are the kind of people that are calling that are like, hey, we're moving out of California.
Yeah.
And because they'll take our kids or because Elon, my company's leaving, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I just talked to someone last week. We had an hour-long conversation. I think they actually listened to Cross Politic, Rachel and Tom, and we talked for an hour about the community. It had nothing to do with real estate specifically.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the investment. Purely about how it would affect their family and what they can build here.
It seems to me that COVID really kicked off, like people moving. People used to move for work, for that big job, or for the big city life, whatever. It seems like COVID started reversing those trends where people are actually moving. I've always said, like, I move first for church, work and family, and that order can mix a little bit, but my main goal is community. So I'd move for that, and then family and work could be interchangeable depending on the situation. I love my family, but I mean, come on. But that was not the norm of how people would think. People would think about job, money, big city life, amenities, and all that. But it seems like that's just upside down now.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem like COVID and everything else has pushed the envelope. It was like the kindling was building up, and it was the spark to the fire where it's like, oh, if you're going to take my kids, or I can't educate my kids, I can't discipline my kids the way that I want to in this area.
Or if you're going to allow riots for 105 days in Portland, like I'm out.
Right.
Well, and that's a big difference now too. We have way more visibility on what's happening in big cities versus small towns, right? I mean, Twitter, X alone is an example of that. There wouldn't have been coverage of the Psalm-Sings arrests in the same way without that. It just wouldn't have happened.
That's facts.
So
and Black Lives Matter wouldn't be covered. Yeah. Like, I mean, the news is just ignoring, was it Chaz or Chop or whatever over in Seattle? Our friend Jerry Owen, when
Portland.
Chaz or Chop, whatever was happening in Seattle, he's a pastor. He took his youth group to it. He's like, we're driving down there. I want you guys show you guys what foolishness looks like.
It's like in the Proverbs.
Yeah.
My son,
Look at that fence. It's run down.
you see that guy?
So you have a piece of paper with all kinds of stuff in front of you. I'm so intrigued when people come in here with notes. This is not a show with notes. So it's
Except for what Toby reads.
so I'm always intrigued. Like, what did you plan? I'm always intrigued by that. But so when you look at the housing markets, particularly, it's really interesting that someone just moved to Moscow and they moved here and they had a house they moved here with a house. And I was like, whoa, wait.
You found a house?
You found a house? Yeah. That's amazing. A house is open now, or we kind of got the thing back up where houses are available in the market? Because there was a time.
On the market now?
Yeah.
Inventory?
Yeah, there is some inventory. 2020, 2021, it was going, right?
Yeah.
Average days on market, 2, multiple offers, bidding wars going way above list price.
I put my shed on the market.
$300,000 for a shed. That's about what it was.
And you had to rent the land back from me.
Yeah.
These days, obviously homes are less affordable because of the rise in interest rates, but that has made more availability. So inventory is still scarce in that anyone who purchased a home over the last 3 to 5 years really isn't selling if they can help it. They're holding on to those lower interest rates. But if they are moving based off of circumstance, generally homes are slightly longer on the market.
Is there anything in the political world that makes you guys say, "Oh, I wish that didn't happen"? Or do you guys? Is your industry like not at all? Are you guys not concerned at all about how does it matter if it's a Democratic president or a Republican president, or does it matter for you guys at all, one way or another, for your market?
For our market, I was talking to a pastor at Christ Church the other day, and he was saying his expectation, and maybe that's just general church growth here. Really, regardless of which way the election goes, there's going to be a massive amount of people coming this way post-election. I think, let's say it goes conservative, then the more larger liberal cities might continue to degenerate and
darker blue.
Right, darker blue. Yeah. Reds are going to move out, Idaho. Or if it goes liberal, then those entire states are going to continue to degrade, and conservatives are going to want to get out. So we expect a fairly large influx, which, being real estate agents in a conservative state isn't a bad industry.
So what's all in the sheets of paper, you guys?
Yeah.
What did you think we were going to talk about?
I mean, we talked about some numbers last time, right? One thing that Jordan and I was talking about is we believe there's no better way to build long-term generational wealth than through investing in real estate or owning real estate, right? A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, and a great way to do that is through owning real estate. So Jordan and I, we were running some numbers with median home sale prices, and average stock market returns 10%. if you were to purchase a house, like you were saying, Chalk Knox, you can get an 80% return on that investment by owning real estate.
Over
Like that.
what time period?
Jordan was talking about the long term. That's in 1 year.
I'm sorry, what?
Wait, 80% in 1 year?
So let's say you had $20,000 to invest.
Okay.
You put it in the stock market. You make 10%. You
Yep.
make $2,000.
Yes.
Or you take that and you put it down on a median home sale price across the nation, $400,000.
Yeah.
That $20,000 down or whatever. Okay.
$20,000 down, 5% down, and the average appreciation across the nation is 4%. So, but that 4% appreciation isn't on your 20; it's on the $400,000 value of the home. So you make $16,000 on your $20,000. You've seen 80% appreciation on that investment.
Aren't houses cheap in Georgia?
Georgia!
I'm just doing some calculations. Okay. All right. I got that one.
We bought our first duplex in 2006 or 7, maybe 7, here in Moscow. My mom and dad weren't able to buy their first house until I graduated high school. That was in 1997. We moved from Texas to Oregon, and that's where they were able to buy their first house. The first house was $150,000, 118. I can't remember. And I was like, "Holy cow, that's a lot!" Especially going from Texas, you could buy a house in Texas for $50,000, $75,000. Where I was in my neighborhoods, where I was at. Which is mind blowing. That's a car now.
We can't even buy your shed for that.
I know. Yeah,
Not
my
in
shed
Moscow.
went for 125.
Not in Moscow.
And then, but my mom and dad were able to help me with our duplex, give us a down payment for the duplex, and then from there, we bought another house, sold duplex, that kind of thing, and now we're in our my there's a willow tree by my pond where I told my wife just to bury me there when I turn into Joe Biden. That's my burial spot. But going through and first, of course, you always regret selling your duplex. You always actually regret selling your houses and instead of turning them into investments. And we were kind of forced to financially for some of the reasons. But I do think when especially when times are crazy like this right now. What a better time to build. Like we don't respond. We aren't Christians that respond in fear. We respond like we need to build. We need to get our infrastructure up. We need to find ways to defend our family. I don't want any cracks in my house. I want a stronger door on my front door. I'm just kind of going through all these. I was just thinking the other day, I got this window I need to fix. Because I want to protect my family. It's not. So I think part of like the answer to the opening question, Toby, that you asked was, wasn't it? I'm not going to go there. Is
You're turning into Joe faster than you think.
no. Yeah. It was a squirrel moment. It totally was. I'm like, this is going to sidetrack everything. It's going to take away. But when times are in chaos, a lot of people want to fear. They want to, let's say, rent. They want to, not hunker down, or hunker down is probably the wrong word. They don't want to tie themselves down in a certain location, that kind of thing. But I'm in a situation where it's like, okay, generationally, absolutely, I want, Lord willing, the house that I have has got 10 acres. I'd love my kids to build on it someday. Being able to, my mom and dad never being able, their parents weren't able to provide for help them buy a house. Mom and dad had to scrounge. I was 18 years old when they bought their first house. Incredible.
Yeah.
And now to be in a situation, I do think one of the problems in Idaho over the next 20 years is trying to figure out how my kids can buy a house when now the average house price is $400,000. And instead, when I bought my house in 2015, the average house price was probably what, 225 or something?
Yeah, 210.
210.
Like that. Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
What
So
is-
it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
What I mean, I want riffing off of what Gabe is talking about is, so from your guys' perspective, or just generally saying, okay, so investing in real estate is strategic. Is there more specific than that? Like, how do you advise people to think strategically about, okay, we're Christians, we're made for this moment, we're made to build for the future, we're made to trust God and build in his world with confidence. So consider, I don't know, what are your top 3 things? Like, think about this. This is strategies to be thinking about because you're Christians. You believe in the future. You believe this world belongs to Christ. So, put your money where your mouth is. What are some strategies that you guys are find yourself regularly sharing with people?
Yeah, I'd say a lot of times right now I'm dealing with first-time home buyers or people moving from other areas. And so there's two big things. One is teaching people to think big picture. And as Christians, we should be able to do that better than anybody.
Right.
Even the pagan real estate investors are thinking in 100-year chunks. When can I get my retirement? What can I pass to my kids? We should be thinking in 500 years,
Right.
1,000 years, right? And so that should give us a different level of confidence and strategy.
A man who doesn't provide for his own household is worse than an unbeliever.
Yeah.
Even the unbelievers are thinking in 100-year
Yeah.
increments.
Exactly right.
Keep going.
Exactly right.
You post-mill real estate folks are different.
So that's where people say,
Number
should
one.
I buy now or in 6 months? And it's like, well, should you buy this decade or next decade? Like that's more of the mindset people should be in. So that's number one, right? Think big picture. The second one is, hear me out, be willing to compromise a little bit.
Okay.
Because you can't necessarily jump in
I
and
hate
buy.
that word.
I know.
I hate
compromise. You can't necessarily buy that $400,000 house out the gate.
Yeah.
The average home size in 1950 range was about 1,000 square feet. That was the average across the board.
Yeah.
Average household about 4, right? Now we have a household of 3, and the average home size is 2,200 square feet,
Wow.
right? And when I meet with people,
One of these things is not like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really
This
good at
is
math.
not that.
I'm not really good at math, but that's a little different.
Bigger house, less kids,
Yeah.
more dogs, probably.
yeah, exactly.
And more overweight.
That's probably true.
I meet with people and they give me the specs of what they're looking for, and they say, I just can't afford anything that's reasonable. And I say, well, you want 2,000 square feet for you and your one kid or no kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's ratchet back. Let's leapfrog to that house down the road. And that's what we've seen our parents and grandparents do in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But people don't see that history. They just see the 2,000 square foot home they grew up in, and they want that now.
So what's the third thing?
So second one is lower expectations, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Be willing to compromise
You're
for
willing
a
to
time.
compromise
yeah.
for a time. Leapfrog. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a better name for that.
I'm sure there's something way
compromising and lowering
I
expectations
don't like
sounds
the
bad.
compromise word. Yeah. Leapfrog. This is like this is a game. It makes it, you gamify it.
Don't be prideful.
This is smash mouth incrementalism applied to real estate. Smash mouth incrementalism applied to real estate. Sorry, I just
I love it.
got 3.
What's the third one?
The third one's really good, but I don't remember what it was.
Oh,
We talked.
what Chris
Come
has to
back.
come
You got it, Chris?
I got one. I got one for you. I don't know if this is number 3, but I do think there's an element to real estate right now. It's a scarce resource. It's only getting harder to buy, and there it is a. It's kind of like a land grab. Who's going to get it? BlackRock's coming in, and they're buying up tons of homes, single family homes.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I was up at the lake a couple weeks ago. And I got on I always look at houses up at the lake when I'm up there because, maybe someday I'll be able to buy a lake house.
Leapfrog.
I don't know. Leapfrog. Right? Cha-ching. And BlackRock was had a lot of real estate up there around the lake. It was weird to see that. Anyways, that's it.
It's wild. So I like
It's no joke, basically, what you're
now is the time because for your kids, for your grandkids, great grandkids, it's only going to get harder. So if you're able to help them, I was looking at some stats, Switzerland, Germany, 60+% of their population rents. And I was talking to someone else. They think we're moving more towards a renter nation. Right now, 1/3 of our population rents. So right now, for us Christians who want to grow, build, and bring the kingdom here, it's an opportunity to grab land when it is available because it won't necessarily always be.
That's shocking.
Wait. You need to explain why it would be bad to be a renter's nation.
Because you're beholden to those who own the property.
And you can't vote.
I don't think that's how it works.
Homeowners.
That's not how it works. There is something to that seems like, this isn't that directly application, but there should be an attitude based into us that we should be the ones who own and lend and not borrow. Like, there's something that we should be working towards where we own, it's
good.
ours, because it's not good the other way.
and it's a matter of, owners are ultimately responsible. And so I think this goes back to our dominion mandate. To take dominion is to take ownership, to take responsibility. And when you're a renter, and there's a place for that. Usually you've got to save up capital. There's places in your life where you need to be the renter, and that's fine. There's nothing necessarily immoral
Leapfrog.
about that. But the goal ought to be take as much responsibility as you can.
Yep.
Take as much dominion as you can.
Yep.
And if the Lord gives you that ability and that means to own property and then to take responsibility for that and take dominion of that property, that's how you grow up in maturity. That's how you grow in wisdom and understanding in bearing the image of God. I'm curious. It actually makes me think of we've talked before on the show about property taxes and the problem of property taxes. Gabe loves property taxes, but he's wrong about that because property taxes.
My shed's pretty expensive. Property taxes
are essentially de facto the state claiming ownership of your property. If you do not pay this, we will, ultimately we will send bills and then we will send, guns. That's ultimate. Everything behind the government ultimately is a gun at the back, at the very end of that, and which means that fundamentally even owners are renters.
Right.
So, what is Story Real Estate going to do about the problem of property taxes?
Wow. And that's enough for this show.
I'm just curious. I think you guys should help us with this because you care about ownership.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm a little bit playing, but I'm also curious. Have you thought about this?
Yeah, and genuinely we are. We're helping people purchase more real estate, own it, and by being owners of real estate, you do have more effect on lobbying towards or against different things, right? So, if you don't own any real estate and you go to lobby for something, you're gonna have less of an impact than if you own 10 properties.
Yeah.
And don't forget that, of course, renters are still paying property taxes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Your renter, your rent is covering somebody's property tax.
Yeah.
So they pass the, it's not like they're like, don't worry, I'll cover that for you. No, most property owners are still passing those expenses on to the renters.
Yep.
Website, telephone number, how people can contact and talk to you about how to move to Moscow or anywhere else in the nation for that matter.
Yeah,
because you can connect to other real estate agents in the nation.
Absolutely. We've had even through this show, we've had great experiences with people coming on our website, storyrealestate.com, getting connected with us, and then we get them connected with a great Christian, like-minded real estate agent in their
region.
In
That's
their
sweet.
area. Yeah, we did it with a guy Cohen down in Oregon. Great experience, and he had a great experience. So storyrealestate.com. Sign up on our website. You can fill out a contact card. We can help you with whatever you need when it comes to real estate, or shoot us a call, text 208-301-5939, 208-301-5939.
I just wanted to see if you're going to be that bold to give your telephone number.
Oh, there
That's
it is.
amazing.
There for you.
It's not Chris's though.
If you're single,
That's
get
awesome.
married. If you're married, have you some kids. And if you have kids, go buy a house and baptize them. Until next time, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is Cross Politic.
That was a fun show.